evening, everybody. Welcome to the Free State Podcast. This is episode 12, I believe. We're on episode 12. I'm Brian.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Doug. Good to have you with us.
All right. So Scott and I went to the gun show at the Anne Arundel County Fairgrounds this past weekend. That was a good time. Scott, did you have a good time? We went on different days, but
Yeah, definitely did. Our common friend Travis, who was there both days, he said it was about 3 times as many people on Saturday compared to Sunday, so it was a little bit lighter, but did get to talk to a lot of people, meet some new people, so it was good.
Good. Yeah, it was raining a little bit, and there was a few holes in the roof, so we had a drip we had to deal with on Saturday. But yeah, it was good. It was good outreach. It's always. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but it does always surprise me how few people either have never heard about the Libertarian Party or know very little about the Libertarian Party. So it was cool. A lot of people, because we have like lib in the first, like in our name, people think we're a bunch of like liberal, like leftists. And when we had a decommissioned RPG on our table, like, people were like, "Oh, you guys aren't a bunch of liberals. You do like guns." Like, yes, we like rocket launchers and grenades and stuff like that. So that was cool. We handed out a bunch of constitutions. Shout out Travis for all those pocket constitutions. So yeah, it was a good event. A good way to start off the season of doing things and all the stuff. So I guess let's get into it. I'll preface this by saying I have no notes prepared. My son started lacrosse last week, so 2 nights a week, that's been taking up my time when I would usually do my notes on Monday for Tuesday show. Mondays are full of 5-year-olds and lacrosse, and it's like herding cats that are on fire, but it's been fun. It's been a very good time. So I have no notes tonight. I'll get in the groove hopefully here soon. We actually had a game yesterday. His first game. We lost, but it's all right. The fundamentals look good, so I'm happy with it. Ground balls. That's my main focus, is getting them to be good at ground balls, because ground balls wins games. If there's any lacrosse players out there, you know that. All right. So the first bill I have is for Anne Arundel County. This is similar to a bill that got passed in Baltimore County not too long ago. It is Bill 19-23. It is a ordinance concerning public safety, ban the Bag Act of Anne Arundel County. It was introduced by Rodvine, Hummer, and Pickard. Pickard, the leftist soldier of Anne Arundel County. It's for the purpose of prohibiting the retail distribution of plastic bags in Anne Arundel County, defining certain terms, establishing the duties of retail establishments, making a violation a Class C civil offense, providing for the enforcement of the prohibition on plastic bags, allowing retail establishments to distribute paper and reusable bags at no cost until a certain date, providing for a delayed effective date, and generally relating to public safety, because those plastic bags will kill you.
Only if you put them over your head.
Exactly. We are preventing toddler deaths, I guess, with this bill. That's the whole plan. Nothing to do about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder if the public safety aspect of it has any impact on like the time, does that make it any kind of emergency thing or not?
I'm not sure. You're probably right. It probably, because it did just get introduced like not that long ago. It says here on the 6th. It got introduced on March 6th. So it's probably puts it at the top of the docket, if I had to guess, because it's concerning public safety.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and share this so everybody can look at it. Nope. There we go.
Third time's a charm, baby.
Yeah, I'm definitely off my game tonight. Sorry, everybody.
It's all good.
So here we have proposed County Council of Anne Arundel County Legislative Session 2023, Day 5, Bill 19-23. Introduced and first read on March 6th. Public hearing is set for April the 3rd, which is this coming Monday. Bill expires on June 9th. So I guess if it doesn't pass by June 9th, then it's that's it for it until I guess next year. So this is a lot. This is a lot of words for just a plastic bag.
Yeah,
You've read it, Scott. You've read it through, right? So give us a quick synopsis, and then we can go through and kind of dissect the bill for what it says.
yeah. So I believe this is like a copy of similar bills that have passed. I know they passed one in Baltimore County. They may have passed one in Howard as well, but I'm not sure about that. But basically, the way that these work is they ban plastic bags. They force retailers to charge a 10-cent surcharge for every brown paper bag or reusable bag that they give to a customer. That 10 cents is not a tax. It doesn't go back to the government. It's actually kept by the retailer. But if they don't, count how many bags are given out, and then charge that charge to the customer, they're subject to fines. And it just, if you think about it, it's really adds a lot. All these retailers are going to have to update their point of sale systems to count this, tally this, it's required to be printed on the receipt. And so it's a really big burden for a lot of businesses. A lot of the big box stores probably are already ready to adapt to this because other localities have done similar bills. The people that it's going to fall hardest on are going to be your local small businesses, like your mom and pop shops, maybe, like restaurants, carry out places. It's going to affect all of them.
So, you may not know the answer. Maybe we can find it out if you don't. But what about businesses that are already using paper bags? I know the restaurant that we are going to start holding our Anne Arundel County meetings at, they already do paper carryout bags. They don't do plastic. So are they going to have to charge an extra 10 cents for something that they already do? Do you know that answer?
By reading the bill, it seems like they would. That's something else I hadn't even thought of. So,
well, because it's kind of just one of those things that have been adopted by some places, not every place, but some places, to where, it's a brown paper bag. I don't know. I like having brown paper bags around the house. Great to start fires. They're, you just throw them in the recycling bin. You don't have to either store them and have a big ball of plastic bags or just throw them in the trash, knowing they're just going to go to landfill and not break down for the next 80 years. So, I feel like public opinion has already kind of pushed us towards paper bags in a lot of ways. And this just seems just so redundant. And does this and it doesn't include plastic, cup tops from, fast food restaurants, or you get a slice of pizza from 7-Eleven and it's got cardboard, but it's got that layer of plastic film on the top so you can see your shitty pizza. So ultimately this is just going to affect mostly mom and pop places, because mom and pop places are the ones that would use plastic bags the most, if I had to guess, right?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it everywhere I've kind of shopped in the last week or so after the bill dropped. I got some takeout from Lido Pizza, which is a local pizza joint, and the pizza is obviously in boxes, but some of the other appetizer items, they give them to you in plastic bags. If you've ever shopped at Aldi's a grocery store. Basically, the bill is their bag policy. They don't give out plastic bags. They charge you for brown paper bags, I believe, and then the expectation, though, is you bring your own reusable bag. And if people prefer that, then maybe they should shop there. But I think it kind of says something about what the preferences of most people are, that most stores have not adopted a similar policy.
Yeah, I mean, if people are going to ask for it, like, I mean, Aldi, like you said, if they force you to, we shop at Aldi too, and they force you to do it. And, half the time we forget our reusable bags and end up having to buy I think they're like 12 cents at Aldi. And it's like, whatever, I'll pay 12 cents just to shove as much shit as I can in a paper bag. But like, from my restaurant experience, right? So you do carry out, most like carry out places, they hand you your food over a pass where other people's food in containers and stuff touch. So my big concern about the reusable bags, especially for like carrying out like at restaurants, like ready to eat food, is you're putting people's potentially like dirty ass bags that have been like in the trunk of their car where like they put their dog when they go to the dog park and shit. Same bag, dog hair, whatever's on the dog's feet, whatever. Those bags are going to be going onto a restaurant's like carry out countertop where other people's food is going to go sit before you put it in your bag. So like from a restaurant employee veteran, like this is it almost, I hate the word cringe, but it makes me cringe in the literal sense that it's like kind of disgusting, right? It's one thing to like put your like groceries in a reusable bag, but to put like your ready to eat foods in a bag of, who knows how many people have come in there that day to get food in that same counter. Sure, the restaurant should be wiping it down, but it's a carry out place. There's no food being prepared there. So I think legally you don't have to wipe it down. That's just, it kind of freaks me out a little bit how potentially gross this could get. You know what I mean? I mean, think the government likes to think of worst case scenarios when it comes to food, right? So worst case scenario is, you have a bag where you keep in your trunk of your car where a dog goes. Dog stepped in something that could have, salmonella, E. coli, norovirus. It could have any of these number of things. It could have some sort of parasite. Like, you don't know, right? You just do not know what is on the bottom of these people's bags. And that's where you're going to put your bag. That's where they're going to put your food to put into your bag. Because if I had to guess, these restaurants aren't going to put their food in your bag. It's like, okay, here's your carryout containers, put it in your own bag and get the hell out. This just like, it screams just unsanitary practices to me. The health department sucks, having had dealt with them for a very long time. But some things are just kind of common sense and like think of worst case scenario kind of deals, right? Because that's what they make us do in the restaurant. They make you think about, oh, the old lady who has cancer and has like no immune system. So you got to think every person that you're serving is either like an infant or like an old person with cancer and no immune system. So this just screams like unsanitary practices to me. And it's really gross. That's all I can say is that it sounds like a really gross practice. Yeah. And I don't see this isn't going to help the environment at all. It's really, really not.
Yeah. I mean, and in the bill, there are some like exemptions, but it doesn't cover like takeout food, like what you're kind of talking about. It covers, like the little bag they have in the produce section for produce, bag for like raw meat from a butcher or something, or bakery goods. Those are exempted, but newspapers, journalists got to be exempt too.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm reading. Like, so it says bakery goods are unwrapped prepared foods, bulk items including fruit, vegetable, nuts, grains, candy, or small hardware items, raw meat or seafood or other foods, the state or consistency of which is not conducive to the use of anything other than plastic carryout bags, newspapers, fresh flowers, potted plants, or herbs. Like, I mean, it's pretty much only the bags that you get when you buy shit. It's the thank you bags.
Yep.
It's the ones that everybody, uses for their bathroom trash can or.
I was just about to add that too. It's like, they're targeting single-use plastic bags, but when I get them, I save them. I have, like you said earlier, a big ball of plastic bags in the closet. Use them for trash cans, use them for cleaning up dog waste. It's just.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Like, you go to, you're supposed to carry around plastic baggies for your dog, right? That's like even if it's not a rule, it's it's good common practice. So it's like this one instance to where it's going to affect the establishments, not in a super inconvenient way, but it's one more thing they have to add to their point of sale. It's another charge they have to charge the customer. And then they have to implement it, right? They either have to switch out all of their kind of hardware that holds like plastic bags. Like you go to like a self-checkout thing, they have all those metal holders for all the plastic bags. They're going to have to switch those out. They're going to have to stack up, they can only, if you can see the difference between stacking up a paper bag versus a plastic bag, how much more plastic bags you can hold. So like, it's just, it's not going to help the environment. It's just going to hurt these retail establishments. The violations are Class C civil offense. The county may enforce this section through injunctive proceedings or any other appropriate proceedings. A retail establishment shall be given a warning for the first offense, except as provided in the subparagraphs 2 and 3. Multiple violations during a consumer transaction at a single point of sale constitutes a single offense. So at least they're not going to like stack them for like one person, like give one person 5 bags. You don't get 5 violations, you get 1. The provision of 1 or more plastic carryout bags per consumer transaction at a single point of sale is a single offense. The failure to charge, collect, or retain at least 10 cents per paper or reusable carryout bag that a retail establishment provides to a customer is a single offense. So even if these so they can't even give out the paper bags is what it sounds like. They have to charge 10 cents for them.
But what I'm trying to figure out is why is the arbitrary number 10? Like, I feel like they just like threw a dart at a board and said, oh, by the way, it can't be a nickel and it can't be a penny. It has to be 10 cents. Like, this just reeks of just bureaucratic BS that just, it doesn't have any real world application. It just, all the way down to that. This is a Looney Tune bill. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is just something that everyone's trying to follow suit because everybody wants to see who can out yuppie the other. And it really just feels like that's what's happening right now. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I prefer plastic bags over paper ones. Why? Because plastic has at least a little bit of give in it where it'll stretch. Paper just catastrophically rips when it's slightly too moist outside.
or the handles break.
Yeah, the fact that they even try to put handles on paper bags is absolutely laughable. And it's actually a reason I believe that the intelligence curve should be more stringent. But at the same time, the reality is that this is just like, I've been listening to you guys. You guys are making great points. And for me, it's just, I don't even think you need to make intellectual points about this. I can just point out like paper bags kind of suck. So I don't really understand the concept.
Yeah, the goal isn't to the 10-cent charge is to discourage the use of paper bags by the customer, and the goal is to get people to use the reusable bags.
As in those goofy little tote bags that everybody uses.
Yeah,
those ones that like kind of sort of have household use but not really.
Yes.
Yep. And the ones that if you don't clean them, are
absolutely nasty,
bacteria and E. coli.
Absolutely disgusting, right?
Yeah, I know, because you made a point about them earlier. That's why I guess maybe I blotted it out of my mind because I was like, oh yeah, my dog pissed in it on the way to the
well, that's all I got.
Yeah, it's like, yay. No, it is not.
Yeah.
But of course, most of these yuppies don't like. I know that sounds like, but I mean, it's just that's really the people that push for it.
I think it's true because if you're a person of means and you're ordering you're not going to the grocery store yourself. Maybe you're ordering everything on Instacart or whatever, So this doesn't affect you if that's the case.
It's just like everything else that's being legislated in the state of Maryland right now by the new administration. It all benefits the well-to-do. Yeah. I mean, first they came for the gas cars, now they're coming for plastic bags. I don't understand. Personally. It's by design, boys. Put on your tinfoil hats.
Do you have the documents?
We're breaking the conditioning.
They're turning the frogs gay, and they're banning our plastic bags.
Buy these vitamin supplements.
Sorry, I'm having some physical difficulties over here with my mic stand.
Yeah, I'm about talked out on this bag ban bill. Are you guys ready to move on?
Yeah, this is just.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on for sure.
It'll
did
ruin my mood if we talk more about this.
Yeah, and I did see something about the type of bag. They even say it has to have stitched handles and all this shit. So they're really getting specific about what reusable bag you can and cannot use. So yeah, they're getting really whack about it. All right. Let's move on to this next bill that came across my but came across to me today. It is House Bill 069. Nice. 9.
Nice.
So HB 0699. It is state and local government proof of vaccination for employees and applicants for employment prohibition vaccination by choice act in parentheses. It has a bunch of sponsors. Two of them are in my district, Chisholm and Kipke, and there is a House hearing on that. No, when is it? I think it's coming up soon. I had it. Let me open it up.
I got it up. The hearing was March 6th at 1.
Okay.
So it already happened.
And from the little ticker, it's still in committee. So that's never a good sign when things like that are still in committee, because look how fast HB1 flew through everything. And
I mean, does that effectively mean this is because they already have like the crossover day where things needed to leave and go to the other chamber?
I think this week. I think it might be this week is the last week that can happen. So the fact that it's still in committee probably means that it's dead in the water. It might be worth reaching out to your delegate and asking them to vote favorably for this. Let me bring up the docs real quick. I'm having some real physical difficulties over here.
Jimmy, can you play that back?
So it was brought on by a lot. I mean, you don't see a lot of bills that have this much people that have signed on to it before it even comes to the floor. It's Delegate Morgan, Erican, Baker, Chisholm, Siliberti, Fisher, Greist, Grammer, Hornberger, Howard, Kipke, Mangione, McComas, Miller, Morgan, now Rocky, Otto, Schmitz, Slagia. Is that how you say her last name? Salagia, something like that. Tomlinson and Wivel.
We got Chuck Mangione out here.
I was thinking the same thing. This bill does feel so good. However, it doesn't seem like it's going to get out of committee.
I was going to say, just knowing the two of our delegates that are on here that are both Republicans, I'm guessing all of these delegates are probably Republicans, and knowing the composition of the rest of the House, it's not usually a good sign. But
yeah, it's if I had to guess, I'm trying to think. I feel like Hornberger. I feel like that's also I think you're right. I think it's all Republicans. You should tell us though. Let me see. It's in the Health and Government Operations Committee. seems like it's a lot of people that in this committee who aren't. Quick look. Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure it's like all Republicans, if I had to guess. And it's probably like all the Republicans in the House, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they need to be in the committee that it's in to be a co-sponsor.
No. And if I had to guess, it's probably the majority of Republicans, if not all the Republicans in the House. It did come. There's so many bills, right, that I wish I would have picked up one sooner and talked about it sooner. Because it seems like it's kind of too late for it. But you got to give some of these people credit when credit's due, and I applaud them for at least bringing this bill to the floor, even though it looks like it got brought to the floor last year as well. And it was last year. It was HB 0799, and it never got out of committee. And it looks like it was pretty much the same people, plus or minus a few. And same thing, Vaccination by Choice Act got killed in committee. Never made it out of committee. So that's a real shame. And what's surprising is that a lot of these same people were the ones that were willing to lock down our state and deem people essential or non-essential a few years ago. I know, like Brian Simonaire, the person I ran against, he voted in favor of deeming certain people unessential employees, and then 2 years later he's reverting back. Like, he doesn't understand what once you give the government certain powers that they don't give it back. So yeah, I mean, I don't remember Chisholm or Kipke ever speaking out against lockdowns when it initially happened, or very shortly after they happened. So this is what you get. Like, this is if I had a clip of the Joker, like, you get what you fucking deserve. Unfortunately, we all suffer. But these are the bastards that were okay with locking us down years ago, and now they want it their way, and they're not having it their way. You should have never locked down in the first place, these sons of bitches. So this is what we all get, and we keep voting these people in. We don't, but certain people do keep voting these people in, and this is what we're stuck with. If you want to get a government job, which I don't know why you would, but if you want a government job, they can legally force you to be vaccinated before you get your job.
Can
That's
verify.
kind of what I'm curious about is how many are, how many, because I assume each department's allowed to probably have their own hiring policies that dictate this. Like, how many still are requiring this? Like, I would imagine maybe if it's something in the Department of Health or jobs at hospitals or whatever, if those are state level jobs, those would probably still be requiring it. But I just don't know.
We can probably look it up real quick. Let's see.
Yeah. Go look at some job postings and see if
Yeah,
they
let's do
state it.
let's do some real time research right quick. Maryland government jobs.
Yeah.
I do know that for most armed security jobs in the state of Maryland and DC, Virginia, you do have to be vaccinated.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big thing because a lot of them do government contracts. So it's if you do anything in this area, you are either directly or indirectly working for the federal government. So there's definitely, unfortunately, this area definitely has, and the voting records of most people here show that, as they do as much as they can to pander to federal mandate.
Yeah, it's like you forget about that. Like, you might work for a company, not have any tasks working on a federal contract or a state contract, but if they have other contracts, they're going to have to adopt all of those policies that those contracts require, and they'll just apply it to all their employees regardless, because it's just easier for them.
That's why Maryland has itself in a very unique debacle, that it doesn't just have to worry about its state legislation. It has to worry about any federal mandate that comes down, because it directly affects us even at the local level. Why couldn't we have been born in like Nebraska or Wyoming?
Well, I've never looked at state job listings. Some of these jobs are like they make entirely too much money.
Yeah. I can also verify that.
A Baltimore City administrative manager, senior. The pay range is pretty much $88,000 a year to a little bit over $136,000 a year for Baltimore City.
Yeah, what's the education requirement on that? Like, because I know a lot of these like administrative level jobs will probably have a master's requirement as well.
Well, let's see for this job. Desired or preferred qualifications. It doesn't say anything about schooling. It wants you to have certain experience, but I don't see anything about actually having an education. I'm not seeing anything either about, at least on this job, for having being up to date on your COVID vaccine. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's more so like health kind of. Let me see. Let me see if I can filter it. This is real time.
Yeah, I was like, I just thinking that just because like I was surprised when I went out to visit my mom. She had a surgery, and when I visited her in the hospital, it was like it still had you wearing masks and everything in there, and it's like I thought the science was in on this. I thought the science changed.
Science. Yeah. All right. Maryland Department of Health. Let's see. Geriatric nursing assistant.
It's like Maryland jobs exposed.
You're right.
Free State podcast.
But I mean,
I like it.
This is let's see, further instructions.
Coffee getting specialist required education, master's degree.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on this one about, and you would think a geriatric nursing position would say it. It might be one of those things once you apply to, they're like, well, are you vaccinated?
Well, usually if you, any nursing position, like I guess maybe it's an unspoken agreement that you have to have gone to nursing school and actually gotten all your certs first. So I guess it's sort of like, maybe they're saying it like in the title. I don't know. I actually don't know.
The minimum qualifications for this job are graduation from an accredited high school or possession of a high school equivalency certificate, 2 years of experience in direct care of patients in a medical setting. Applicants may substitute experience in direct care of patients for the required education on a year-to-year basis for up to 4 years of the required education. Candidates may substitute U.S. Armed Forces military service experience as a non-commissioned officer in hospital corpsman classifications or healthcare specialist and medical services specialty codes in the nursing field or work on a year-to-year basis for the required experience. So no, you essentially need 2 years of experience with direct care of patients. And then you can take care of our geriatric citizens of Maryland. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything, and they probably won't put it up there, or isn't really not any jobs that are actually requiring it, and it's the Republicans putting in this bill, just trying to get some, just kind of grifting off of the Republicans, saying, "Oh, we introduced this bill that means absolutely fucking nothing because no jobs are actually requiring it." And having seen that job posting for geriatric nurse, the people that are actually susceptible to, COVID in a very negative way, and they don't require it, at least it doesn't say they require it, then it's it's probably safe to say that 98% of the jobs in the state don't require you to be vaccinated anyway. So it might just start now that I'm looking at it, kind of just sounds like it's a Republican grift just to try to say, oh, see what we tried to do when the Democrats said no. And
well, that's any Republican thing that's ever been done in the state of Maryland while they're even when they're not in the governor's house. That's generally speaking, when you're the minority, all you do is you pander to your base because you can pretty much suggest anything. And as soon as it gets voted down, like, see, we tried. Womp womp. And that's it. That's democracy is, the popularity contest. So boom. Scott, you got anything?
No, I just that's what this might seem like. I think you're onto something.
Yeah,
it's like it's really easy to just introduce a bill. It's not going to get passed. But
my favorite one of those is always the Texas secession bill. Like every year, it seems that they're trying to secede, and I'm just kind of like, okay. At some point, this is just like they just copy and paste and delete the year and just put another one there. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
That is in their Republican platform now in Texas, though, to support Texit, I believe. So
Texit, that's kind of cool.
Texit, yeah. If California and Texas could just secede, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
What would Maryland's secession bill be called? How can we make that catchy? Mexit?
Mex.
All right, so
just one more point about this bill though, too, is it's very specific to the COVID-19 vaccines, and what if there's another pandemic of something else that this wouldn't apply to that.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
Tried to rush something through.
Right.
So I don't know. I just, as a matter of policy, it's just I don't.
Yeah.
Do employers require other vaccines as well? I don't even know. I know I've had, all the ones that you get as a kid, tetanus shots and stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen that.
I know my job didn't. We did have the COVID vaccine requirement until the federal government struck down that they were unconstitutional or whatever the ruling exactly was for federal government contractors.
Right.
But I know the Baltimore Banner, they still require potential employees to be vaccinated. At least last I checked, and that was a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So there's definitely still private entities out there that are still requiring it. And they probably don't want people who would be hesitant about getting the COVID vaccine to be employed by them anyway, if I had to guess. Because the Baltimore Banner is quite woke. They try to put themselves off as being moderate, but they are not. All right. So since I'm a shithead tonight and I had no notes, do we want to talk about what everybody's talking about right now? Do we want to go there? You think we should? Doug, do you want to go there?
Hey, if everybody's game, let's go.
All right, let's do it. So the latest PSYOP dropped, as most of us know, and 3 9-year-olds, 2 61-year-olds, and a 60-year-old got murdered in Nashville in a school shooting at a Christian school by a female to male trans person. They didn't use the AR-15. They had an AR-15 with them, but throughout the shooting, in the videos, it was all a Kel-Tec 2000, which is a 9mm carbine rifle. Actually was looking at one at the gun show this past weekend. So did you guys see the video? Have you guys seen the cop video of them actually going in and doing not what the Uvalde police did?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. They pied the corner perfectly. It was absolutely beautiful, masterful even. And it was I was definitely I enjoyed watching that. Like, I know that might not sound great to some people, but I definitely enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, it was just like how, until we kind of looked into it a little bit more, give credit where credit is due. And these cops did their job. They did their job. And they went into the line of fire into a potentially life-threatening situation, and they, potentially saved the lives of, how many more children or, faculty of the school. So that's the basics of it, right? Now let's talk about the PSYOP part of it, because that's what interests me. Do you guys?
Before we pivot, just talking about the body cam footage, it's like, why are the police so resistant to having body cams, having them on? Like, it's like, if you're heroes and you're doing heroic things, wouldn't you want them captured for your own posterity or whatever? It's like,
I think you answered your own question there.
yeah. Wow.
Like, look at the Duncan Lem situation. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Montgomery County police didn't legally have to have their
Right.
cams on, but like, if you're doing good work, why wouldn't you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is proof I did some good shit, and stop hating on cops. But when you do fucked up shit or alleged fucked up shit, and then you don't have any proof to say otherwise, people are going to keep questioning you. And this was a great example of, having the film and giving it out to the public like right away, right? This happened yesterday, or when did this happen? Was it yesterday? And the body cam footage is already out to the public, like, of all the officers that were in the building, like, when this happened. And this is just like goes to show, like, this, like, policing can be good. Sure, I think we all agree that policing should be privatized, right? But this is a great example of good policing, and these cops deserve all the credit that we can give them for sure, you don't need a pat on the back for doing your job, but yeah, I mean, the child killer is dead. Rest. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I mean, yeah.
It's her pronouns are now dead.
Were.
Yeah, were. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it was a school shooting, and the kind of the PSYOP part of it is that it's a trans person. It's a trans person against a Christian school, when you've had a lot of Christians saying that there's a battle against Christianity, which I would somewhat agree that there is, right? Because that's always the the conservative Republican that's a Christian that is doing trans genocide and is calling these groomers and things like that. So it kind of fits the narrative. Honestly, I think it's just going to get more people pissed off at each other. That, like, once the kind of the smoke clears after this, and people start talking about it in a more a less critical way of actually the facts of what happened during that day, I think it's going to just turn into another narrative that's just going to divide the country even further.
Not just that, but it's Christianity is often in the modern day used as a monolith. It's used as a symbol for patriarchy, for boomer parents, for anybody that ever tells you shouldn't do something. It generally gets related back to the church somehow. Like, you can also see other religions are persecuted. I mean, white supremacists obviously go after Judaism. There have been hate attacks against Muslims. There's definitely an organized secular ideology that kind of goes against that in a violent way. And it's definitely something that is worrisome, to have those target groups instead of finding objective things to agree on and things of that nature. We all kind of further and further push out. So you are correct there, Brian, I think.
I think Cat Turd 2 should do another poll, and we should take it seriously.
I missed that. What was it?
So Trump put out a tweet today, yesterday, or Friday. And do you follow Cat Turd 2 on Twitter?
I'm familiar.
So he put out a poll, or she, I think it's he, put out a poll the other day saying, who Republican, gun to your head kind of thing or whatever, who would you vote for? And it was like Trump, DeSantis, or other. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And Trump won. It was like 62% Trump or something like that. And Trump put out a tweet saying, like, referencing it, like, "Oh yeah, this is legit. This is like a legit survey," which it arguably kind of is, because all the other surveys with people, and they're usually done by some sort of leftist media or something like that. Let me see if I can find Trump's tweet of it.
Or they're just done by somebody intending to support a specific candidate. Yeah, it's like I know the Cat Turd or whatever, they're like more Trump friendly, like, and so their audience probably skews that way. But if it's a big enough account and it's getting retweeted, you're probably gonna get a more accurate sample that way, at least of Twitter.
Yeah. So here we go. This
It's
is
not necessarily a real place, but
Business Insider. Trump touts Twitter poll from @CatTurd2 showing him with a big lead over Ron DeSantis.
it's just great that they got a report on this, right? Like,
Trump touted a Twitter poll conducted by CatTurd2 showing him with a strong lead over DeSantis. A pro-Trump super PAC also reshared the poll on Monday, tweeting new poll results from CatTurd2. CatTurd2 quoted the tweet shortly after and added, "Ha ha 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 ha." Yeah, so that's what it was. Trump won the poll with 69% of the vote. Nice. And I think it was like over like 130 some thousand people like voted in on it. So it's skewed because Cat Turd is a Trump supporter, but the sample size is larger than most of your normal surveys of like out in the street or mailing in or calling places and stuff like that. So there might be something of it. And here we go. There's another example of the failed dinosaur media. People are taking Cat Turd 2's poll more serious than like a CNN or Fox News poll. So
we got to be living in an episode of South Park at this point. That's all I got to be saying. Like it just ever since like 2015, I've been just kind of like, yeah, no, there's no way that this timeline is real. We have definitely gone into a spoof.
What happened in 2015?
No, it's like when Trump and everybody else, they announced like the rumblings of running for president and things like that, and I was just like, no, there's no way, there's no fucking way.
Oh, I know.
2016 happened, and then when it actually, like, all the memes that led up to it, as soon as 2016 happened for me, and moving forward, the world has just gotten more and more ridiculous because you had Trump derangement syndrome, you had the woke movements, you had all other things happening, and we're now here where Cat Turd is being taken seriously as a political poll. So I think that's what I'm saying. The world has just gotten, I'm just going to be blunt, it's gotten more and more outrageous as time has gone on. And I'm just like, you know what? We are in an interesting timeline.
But what happened in 2015? A very big event happened in 2015.
Well, it wasn't just one. Which one? What is your one that you're talking about?
2016. I was wrong. Harambe died in 2016.
Okay. I was about to say, like, wait, what? No, Harambe definitely died in 2016. And there is the evidence is clear that the monkey curse is upon us. We have not. We slayed the gorilla, and now he's slaying our future.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The slaughter of Harambe was threw us off the timeline at the time, and now we're in some parallel universe where everything is just idiotic, chaotic, and comical most of the time, right? It's like we're in a timeline where if you don't laugh, you're just gonna fucking kill yourself.
We're in a worse version of the movie Butterfly Effect. That's pretty much what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. Well, this is arguably the worst episode yet.
Yep.
But it's all right. You know, you gotta have these growing pains. So anything else you guys want to add tonight? Do you have anything that is worth talking about? Promise next week off show notes. I do promise that, because I'm not doing this again.
It's time to beat the dead horse here. I think it's time to go.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks if you watched. And I may not even upload this thing to Apple or Spotify.
We'll just keep it as for posterity.
If it had been episode 13, you could just treat it like the 13th floor of a hotel.
Yeah, the 13th
right?
floor, right? God damn
It's
it.
12.
Well, technically, if we don't air this one, the next one will be 12. So
that's true. That's true. Well, it's already out in the ether on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So we gotta throw it up there. Listen to the cursed episode 12 of the Free State Podcast.
The cursed 12, yes.
We can only go up from here. Which sucks because this is the second episode we have all three of us. And it's
it's one of those deals where you're right. Everything has growing pains, and then we're all still trying to figure it out. I mean, I'd much rather it happen now than when we have like 1 million followers,
right? And we have some shit ass episode.
Yeah, no. Having turd episodes is better when you're just starting.
Yeah. So trying to think of anything coming up. We have the Libertarian Party of Maryland convention coming up on April 8th. If anybody's listening or plans on listening.
Details next week.
Yeah, we get the details next week. But if you're not haven't bought your ticket yet, buy it. If you're not a libertarian, do it. And then reach out to me if you want to come to the convention and actually vote and vote on executive board and any bylaw changes and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be fun. Where is it at? I can't remember. It's like up in
Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, Maryland.
There you go. I hear good things about that place. I haven't been there yet. Dave Smith had a show there a few months ago, a couple months ago, a few weeks ago, something like that. So, and I hear the beer is really amazing and the food's good. So,
everybody else, Google Perryville, because that's what I had to do, and get on up there.
I have a general idea where it is. Couldn't tell you exactly. Couldn't tell you how to get there.
Maryland.
I think it's
somewhere
just
in
across the Susquehanna off of 95.
Like everywhere else in Maryland.
Yep, that's about to say.
You're either off of 95, 97 over the Susquehanna or the Patuxent. So,
yeah,
one of them places. So, yeah, with that, everybody, thanks for listening. If you were brave enough to make it to the end, and if you do, let me know. Let me know if you made it to the end of this episode, and I'll Venmo you $5 or something like that for your time. I think you'd at least deserve that.
Venmo code cat turd and the coupon code get $5.
Yeah. Text me cat turd 2 and I'll give you $5 at cat turd 2 for $5. 69%. Cat turd 2. 69%. And I'll give you $5.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a check. I'll write you a check, but you can't cash it for 90 days. So just throwing that out there. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Signing off for Doug and Scott. I'm Brian. Everybody have a good night. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.